2017, this is CISB113, Section 7, Information Technology Fundamentals and Practices. Today is day number 8 in week number 4. So let us get started. Very welcome back to this class. We'll let you enjoy the beautiful scenery of Macau later. Now if you look at these white screen, okay? So we're still in week number 4, and today is day number 8. If you look at this week's theme, we need to help you to understand something on the internet and the web, together with information literacy and competency. Now we helped you to get started with information literacy this past Monday, and you still remember the discover method we used to help you to understand how to answer the question, is web technology making your life better? And towards the end of last class, I invite you to use the same method to explore another question, is AI and robotics making our life better? Okay, I hope you got some answers with you. But today, let us get started by helping you to do a review on information literacy. Remember, last class, we used this particular video to help you to keep in mind 5 important components of information literacy. You start out with a need for information. You need some information. So you need to get access to specific information. But after you've got a lot of information, you need to go through the evaluation step before you can actually use the relevant information. But by the time you use the relevant information in your own context, you must give credit to your sources. So today, let us start by a couple of minutes of review on information literacy. Okay? The 5 components of information literacy.
Familiar with the term literacy, and some of you may have heard of information literacy, but are not exactly sure what information literacy is. Turns out, information literacy is a distinct set of skills that gives us the ability to locate, evaluate, and use effectively the needed information. Information literacy can be divided into 5 separate components. Let's take a look at how each of these components applies to success in college or university and in real life.
Success.
The first component is about identifying the nature and extent of the information you need. Academic examples include writing a thesis statement, creating a timeline and plan to complete a research paper, and differentiating between primary sources of information like findings from research and secondary sources of information like a book about the results. In the real world, the identify component shows itself as devising a search strategy to find information on buying a new home, identifying the difference between a published court decision and an article about that decision, and deciding to search for the most current information about a medical issue so you're well informed. The second component means you can find the needed information effectively and efficiently. In academia, this means you can use Boolean terms and, or, and not when searching online, locate a book on the library shelves by its call number, and choose the best keywords and phrases when searching online or in library databases. Outside of school, you are able to search the public archives for information on local history, request genealogical records through interlibrary loan, and access a government website to find local crime statistics. The ability to evaluate the information you find and its sources critically is the next component. Academic examples include reviewing multiple points of view to construct your own opinion, exploring different sources of information like books, databases, periodicals, and the internet to understand a topic, and the ability to analyze the structure and logic of arguments made in lectures and speeches. In the real world, you can research the claims made in political ads on television, scrutinize a Wikipedia article for accuracy, and check a website to make sure it is updated regularly and has current information. The fourth component is about applying information effectively to accomplish a specific purpose. In an educational environment, you can paraphrase an expert to support a position in a persuasive speech, integrate a direct quotation from an article into a research paper, and download an image from a database and then incorporate it into a visual presentation. Away from the educational environment, you are able to develop a market survey based on gaps you identify by reviewing studies, reference experts to support a point during a discussion, and communicate the findings of a patent search to potential investors. The final component of information literacy is to acknowledge the sources of information you use. To do this well, you must understand the ethical, legal, and socioeconomic issues surrounding information. In the college or university, you can show your understanding by creating a works cited bibliography or reference list, understanding what constitutes plagiarism, and utilizing copyright, Creative Commons, public domain, and fair use guidelines. Outside of the college or university, you will give attribution or credit to a reposted image on your website, recognize the limits and protections of free speech and censorship, and know how to download legally purchased music. In summary, the information literate person can identify, find, evaluate, apply, and acknowledge information.
Do you remember that? That's very important. So let's come back to
Knowledge
this page.
information.
Ooh.
And evaluate, apply, and acknowledge information.
You need to keep that in mind. If you believe that you're an IL person, you need to identify your need. You need to find information, get access to it. You need to evaluate those informations. You need to use them to apply it. And finally, you need to acknowledge the sources. Okay? These are very important 5 components. Now, with that as the background, I would like you to start understanding the topics of this week, the internet and the web. You answer the questions. Do you have a chair? Yeah. Are you sure? I can grab you a chair. Are you sure?
Yes, she needs.
Yeah. Come. You just go to that room. Go to the room over there. Grab one. Okay? So, we start by helping you to understand how to answer this question. Is web technology making your life better? Assuming that you know what is meant by the web. Today, we would like to give you a historical picture of what is meant by the web. First of all, you might have heard some terms like Web 1.0, which was a term used back in 1994. And then here came the term Web 2.0, is a term used about 10 years later, since 1994. That means starting from the year 2004. Now it's 2017, 13 years away from 2004. We should have something much more advanced. And some people call this Web 3.0. So in order to help you to understand a little bit more about this, allow me to provide you a very basic tutorial on Web 2.0, which has something to do with the previous generations, but not yet to the next generations. Okay? So, may I invite this gentleman?
If you write anything on your computer,
I'm going to skip this.
I write pretty much all day.
I'll skip this.
Welcome to another video from explainingcomputers.com. This time, I'm going to talk about internet developments known as Web 2.0. Defining exactly what is meant by Web 2 is about as difficult as nailing a jelly to a wall.
Really?
That said, most people agree that Web 2 involves making new and improved forms of online connection between between two or more people, between two or more online services, or between individual users and software applications. Identifying these three types of connection also enables us to isolate the three key aspects of Web 2, as being interpersonal computing, web services, and software as a service.
Wow, three big terms.
Interpersonal computing is about using online technology to connect people to each other in social networks or business teams. The key interpersonal computing aspects of Web 2 are therefore things like social networking sites, wikis, blogs, and online video. Examples of these include Facebook and MySpace for social networking, Wikipedia, blog creation sites like Blogger, and video posts including Kaltura and YouTube. All of these sites allow anybody to add as well as to access content, to leave messages and comments, and to exchange digital media, including photographs and video. Web services are components of online functionality that can be plugged together like a kind of digital Lego in order to create an integrated online offering or mashup. For example, many companies use the web service of a payment service provider, such as WorldPay or PayPal, in order to allow them to easily take credit card payments online. This results in customers interacting with two organisations that are automatically interlinked via the internet. As another common example, web services are also frequently mashed together to integrate a map and related data from one website into another. For example, the property website Rightmove integrates local information from About My Place, which in turn obtains its maps from Microsoft Virtual Earth. And as a third simple illustration, anybody can cut and paste a YouTube video embed link to create a web page that is drawing content from two sources, and with YouTube here providing a web service of video hosting. The final key aspect of Web 2 is Software as a Service, or SaaS. This involves application functionality being offered directly over the internet. In turn, user data and applications can then be accessed from any internet-enabled computing device. For some years, human resources and project management applications have been successfully offered over the internet by companies including Employees and Clarism. However, online replacements for personal desktop applications are now also available. For example, Google Docs is an online word processing, spreadsheet and presentation package available for free over the web. As an alternative, Zoho also offers a Microsoft Office compatible set of online applications, together with tools for project management and other business functions. As yet another example, Juice has launched a free online desktop that also enables people to access their files from anywhere and to share them with others. Many people are still dismissing Web 2 as the latest marketing hype. However, this is probably only because they are unaware of the online service and application delivery aspects, and are hence mistaking the concept as being about no more than teenage social networking. However, in terms of both business and computing, over the next few years, Web 2 is likely to change the ways in which many companies will link together, as well as the means by which many of us will access our data and software applications. Not least, the purchase and installation of expensive standalone software is likely to reduce substantially, and in turn this will impact on existing key industry players like Microsoft. As Google and other Web 2 pioneers have shown, a new business model is becoming possible. This involves providing basic applications and services for free, and then charging a small minority of users for service support, customization, or association. One challenge ahead is to see how robust and more broadly applicable this Web 2 business model may be. As Web 2 takes hold, many companies will need to alter their online strategy. The old Web 1 business model was based around building a great website and just hoping that people would pay a visit. However, in the Web 2 age, it is known where most people go when they first log on, and this is to Web 2 sites such as MySpace, Facebook, or YouTube. Inhabiting these magnet cyber locations where customers are known to be, rather than just expecting people to pay a company's own website a visit, therefore has to become a key online strategy. Hopefully, this video has given you an improved understanding of Web 2 and its implications. For more information, please see the Web 2 pages of explainingcomputers.com.
I hope you understand, but I'm not so sure. Allow me to remind you, this gentleman here helped us to understand the meaning of Web 2.0 by bringing forth to us three important ideas. The first idea is what we call the interpersonal computing. Now you heard something about interpersonal communications. That means I really cannot live alone. I need to learn how to communicate with others because we are grouped together. But here we have interpersonal computing. Now you can imagine what is meant by that. The second concept is what we call the web services. We use the web often, every day almost, but when we talk about the word service and put the adjective web in front of the service term, what exactly are we talking about? Oh, you might think of, I need to order a McDonald's burger. I could either go there to buy a burger from a McDonald's store, or I could ask someone to buy it for me. But now, with web service, I could go to the McDonald's web and I say order, and the burger will be ready and delivered to my desk. Could that be considered as a web service? Yes. The third concept the gentleman informed us is something very much technical. If you are not a technical person, you might not be able to understand it. It's called software as a service. Well, you talk about web service, and then you talk about software as a service. Well, you imagined you do not have a lot of money. You cannot buy a notebook computer with all the software there, such as the Microsoft Office, because it's expensive. So you buy instead not a notebook, but a Chromebook. Okay, Chromebook worth about $1,000 to $3,000 per calendar, even cheaper than the mobile phone. But with that Chromebook, you don't install the Surface there. You don't install the software there because it has no memory space. So you go through the Chromebook and use a lot of the service provided by Google. And one of the Google service maybe you can use is you can use the Google Slides, where you can open up a compatible Microsoft PowerPoint. It's a software as a service, and it's even on free of charge. So in some sense, you understand what this gentleman is talking about. But if I would like to ask you, where in this video has he mentioned the context of the Web 1.0? That he talks a lot about Web 2.0. And where in this video has importance beyond Web 2.0? So he has not done his job yet. So may I invite you, just spend 1 minute, okay, putting your attentions in 1 minute to the next gentleman and to see what the next gentleman is going to tell you about Web 1.0 as well as Web 2.0. Okay? All right, gentlemen, please help. Okay.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of Strategic Business Insights. Today we're going to define some of these jargon terms that people throw around, like Web 2.0 or social media. What do those things actually mean? Well, we're going to break it down into 3 steps. Okay, and let's look at the first one. This is back in the early 90s, okay, early to mid 1990s. At that time, websites spoke to the website visitors. That was it. They had information, they provided information to the visitors. That's all that happened. One-way communication. Okay? That was like the first Web 1.0. Okay?
What is meant by Web 1.0? This is smiling. Can you share? In 10 seconds. Okay, pay attention. I backtrack 10 seconds. Okay, here we go.
Time, websites spoke to the website visitors. That was it. They had information, they provided information to the visitors. That's all that happened. One-way communication. Okay? That was like the first Web 1.0. Okay, no one ever called it.
You got it? You got it? Okay, can you share what is meant by Web 1.0? Can you share? Do you remember what he said in 10 seconds? Can you try? Do you remember what he said? If you remember what he said, and if you understand what is meant by it, that is 1.0. Okay? Pay attention. One more time. 10 seconds. We're going to afford 10 seconds.
And websites spoke to the website visitors. That was it. They had information, they provided information to the visitors. That's all that happened. One-way communication. Okay? That was like the first Web 1.0.
In the 1990s of last century, okay, that's exactly, I guess, 1994, when there was a guy called T. Berners-Lee invented the web, okay? At that time, the website spoke to the visitors. In other words, it's one-way communications. What the visitors can expect from the website is just to read what is being provided there. Okay? It's one-way communications. And most importantly, it is not anybody who can put something on the website. It is done by technical people called a system administrator. They have the techniques to put the graphics, the text, some of the videos on the website. So you can read the website, the text, you can watch the video, and you can see the graphics. But as an ordinary user, we cannot do it because it's too technical. So we call it one-way communications. The website spoke to the visitors. Okay? That is the era of Web 1.0. Then,
Okay, no one ever called it that, but that's effectively what it was. Okay? Then in the second half of the 90s and into the 2000s, we started having Web 2.0. What's that? Well, Web 2.0 is when the website speaks to the website visitors and allows the visitors to speak back to the website. Okay, it's called user-generated content. So people could upload, they could write things, they could contribute content, they could upload pictures or videos or whatever. User-generated content. That's two-way communication. That's
towards the end of 1990s of the last century, and actually it properly started in the year 2004, 10 years after 1994. Okay, that is the birth of Web 2.0. What's the major characteristic of Web 2.0? The website spoke to the visitors, and it allows the visitor ability to speak back to the website. In other words, the visitors is given the ability to provide feedback, text-based, and also upload information to the website. So it's a two-way communication. The most important term you need to be aware of is called user-generated content. The user, now, any ordinary user who has the ability to use a web processor should be able, by the age of the Web 2.0, to generate content, put it online. We do not need system administrator. We do not need technical people to do it for us. That is the generation of Web 2.0. Okay?
what Web 2.0 is referring to. Okay, so what's social media? Social media is the next step. So website speaks to website visitors, allows the visitors to speak back to the website, right, user-generated content, and facilitates the conversation between members, between visitors. Okay, three-way communication. So the visitors could do user-generated content, and they can also communicate with each other. That's social media. So you have...
What exactly is meant by social media? When the user is given the ability to write content and upload it to the web, this is called user-generated content. So one typical medium we often write is called a blog. You see what it's meant by blog? A blog. A blog is a medium which allows any ordinary users to express himself through text or graphics, so that it's how the individual user speaks to the web. And then the blog allows people to look at the blog and feedback to the blog by writing comments there, so many people could communicate with many other people with the blogs. So it's a media. Later on, it well developed into something called the social media software, such as Facebook, such as WeChat. Okay, that's an even advanced. It's beyond the web, okay? So basically, it's a very useful and very entertaining development of the facilities provided to the user, ordinary people, not technical people, to communicate with one another over the web. And today, we could have the facilities of anywhere because of the mobile technologies. And because of that, we have WhatsApp, we have WeChat, with many more coming up, okay? So then, what's next? We are talking about Web 1.0 from 1994 to 2.0 in 2004, but now we are at 2017, 13 years away from 2004. Should that be something much more advanced? Could that be something called Web 3.0? If there is, what exactly is meant by Web 3.0?
Things like Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and everything, you can communicate with other users of the website. That's social media. And so the big question is, what comes next? What's the next thing? What's the next step in the process? Well, the next step in the process are websites and platforms that bridge the gap between the online world and the offline world. Okay, there's a lot of things that are taking place in this area. One of the big ones is referred to as augmented reality. So you have platforms, of course, a lot of these things are happening on cell phones. They have mobile apps where you can actually, like for example, there's this website called Zillow.com, which is a real estate website, and they have an app where you can literally be in a neighborhood and see a house right here, and you can hold your phone up, and it will know where you are, and it will know, because of the GPS in the phone, it'll know where the phone is pointing, so it'll know what that house is, and it'll know what that house is worth. So you can literally just hold up your phone and be like, oh, that house is worth $300,000 or $400,000 or whatever it is, and you can go around to all the different houses in the area, okay, and see what they're worth through the phone. So what's happening is it's putting a filter of information in between you and reality. Okay, and a lot of this, of course, is happening in the mobile space because that's what people carry around with them. So the first step was website speak to visitors. That was it, one-way communication. The next was two-way, allowing people to contribute content back. Social media was allowing people to communicate with each other. And the next step is to bridge the gap between the online world and the offline world, often referred to as augmented reality. There's barcode scanners where you can go to a grocery store and just scan the barcode and immediately see if the price down the road is $1 cheaper than where you're at. That's augmented reality. So I hope that gives you a better idea of some of these terms, some of the things that people are talking about out there. It's an exciting time. It's going to be even more exciting in 5 or 10 years.
So beyond social media, the next step, as advised by this gentleman, is the connections between the online elements and the offline elements. Now, when I mention the online elements, you understand your local computer, your mobile phones, your PC desktop at home's online elements, because they're connected. You can go to the internet with those devices. What about the offline elements? Can you connect your refrigerator in your home kitchen to the internet now? Can you connect your washing machines in your home kitchen to the internet now? Can you connect the stove in your home kitchen to the internet now? Can you connect those LCD machines that's positioned here to the internet now? Well, presently, we do not see many examples around it, but increasingly, we have seen many smart homes being built. For example, 10 to 15 years ago, we do not expect computer network cables around the house. When you buy a house, now you can plug your computer in, and then CDM could go to hook up the main trunk of your house, that is the fiber optics. So all the rooms in your house could be powered up and connected to the internet. And you can imagine, not long from now, those fiber optics could also be plugged into the individual device in your refrigerator, in your Microsoft, in your microwave ovens, which is very much controlled by some kind of home operating system to hook up all the devices you can recommend to the home designer. And then when this happens, we are going to have something called not Internet of Computers alone, but Internet of Things. All the things which are supposed to be offline could now be connected online. Have you heard someone in this campus are wearing Google Glass on their eyeglasses here? Just a small protruding devices here. And from the Google Glass, they can actually watch different things on the glass surface without your understanding, and they can also record everything they see with the Google Glass here, and you don't even see it. Okay? So, augmented reality, that means how to enhance the real-life examples of digital connections. Okay, so we call this Web 3.0? I don't know, but many people use different terms. Some people would use the term semantic web about 7 or 8 years ago. People used the term Web 3.0 for some time, but now they use the term IoT, Internet of Things. So, may I invite you to explore with me for the next episodes of your understanding of the Internet with this evolutions from Web 1.0, Web 2.0, and Web 3.0, okay?
The internet is very much alive and kicking. The first generation of internet sites primarily gave information. But with the rise of sites like Facebook and Amazon, the web has become increasingly interactive. On this Web 2.0, it's mostly the user who produces the content. Without contributors, there would be no Facebook, and without people who post information on Wikipedia and their clips on YouTube, there would be no interaction on these sites. Meanwhile, most people have become familiar with Web 2.0. Blogging, tagging, social networking, and social bookmarking have paved the way to a next step in the development of the web. The step to the intelligent and omnipresent Web 3.0.
Okay. What exactly?
Web 3.0 is not totally different from the web we know now. It is in many respects a continuation of existing techniques. Think of the so-called recommender systems that make a personal approach via website possible. Amazon has cleverly used this system for a long time now by offering their clients products that other people with the same interest bought before them. And on Last FM, you can listen online to music that caters to your personal wishes. By using smart systems, these sites are in a continuous learning process and they anticipate what their users like or dislike. Important for sites like Last FM or Amazon is that a song or a book gets extra information added by the user. No sudden change of the internet, it changes gradually. What does change quickly is the look and feel of the web. Simply speaking, the internet is a web full of appliances that communicate with each other by exchanging information. As more and more everyday appliances are connected to the internet, think of telephones, washing machines and cars, the web is more present. but it will become less and less visible. No big separate computer, but invisibly present in everyday appliances. When, moreover, all these appliances start communicating with each other through the internet, this may lead to useful additional services measured to meet our individual needs. For the time being, we are not yet dealing with an all-knowing, omniscient computer which comes close to or even surpasses human intelligence. Writing computer programs which, in a human manner, convert data into useful information, also known as the semantic web, appears quite difficult. But the web undoubtedly evolves into an environment which is intelligent and which will meet our wishes more often, more easily, and automatically. New services develop because data from various sources can be linked more easily. Moreover, with the good and often wireless infrastructure, these new internet services are always and everywhere available. Your online agenda becomes a personal assistant which, all by itself, for instance on the basis of your profile on LinkedIn, Facebook or other information, will check your possibilities for new appointments and even take traveling times into account. Your destination and itinerary too will have been sorted out by links between restaurant sites, GPS information and local weather services. EPN, the Dutch think tank on the impact of information technology, approaches Web 3.0 from various points of view and draws attention to its implications for society.
This particular video was contributed by EPN, a European Research Society. But now let's go for the Internet of Things. I want you to continue exploring this in another 3 minutes and 57 seconds.
Hey! Being aware of the numerous advances in technology is not an easy task, but fortunately, during the next few minutes you will obtain crucial information on one of the biggest upcoming revolutions, the Web 3.0, as well as great tips on how to be aware of the newest upcoming technology. But what does all this web nonsense have to do with me, you might ask yourself? Well, you would actually be surprised. Just take a look around. You'll be able to find a computer, a tablet, or a smartphone besides mine, or even all of them. Just tell me, what will you do if all your Facebook information gets lost? Or if somebody steals your email password? I would go crazy! Currently, information is not just a bunch of bits anymore. It's actually becoming an extension of ourselves. So, what is the Web 3.0? The Web 3.0 is the upcoming web revolution, the semantic web, a personalizable place with intelligent search and behavioral advertisements, where content is generated by machines rather than by humans, where virtual items or information become more valuable than physical items, where we'll get a tweet telling us if our processing time or even if our food is going out of date in the fridge. Ew. Oh, does that mean that the web has been evolving? Exactly. Remember many years ago when Google just launched, YouTube was just coming out, and MSN Messenger used to be the thing? Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that. Well, those were part of the first web generation, or Web 1.0. The web then began to evolve into a much more dynamic web. Technologies like RSS, Ajax, and XML started coming up. Content management systems were replaced by wikis. Blogs became more common than diaries, and social media became an essential tool for every single individual, creating what we now know as the Web 2.0.
Very good.
Currently, innovative technologies like the Google Glass project, augmented reality, and advanced mobile technologies are what makes this third generation of web possible. Wow, where can I get this Web 3.0? You actually interact with several Web 3.0 technologies every day. Smartphones, for example, are one of the biggest factors in this revolution. Incredible 4G speeds, Retina displays, and technologies like cloud computing improve the web experience massively. Studies have even shown that people are tending towards using their smartphone or tablet more than their actual computers. We can even see this revolution in computers. Take Windows 8, for example, which is trying very hard to adapt to the tablet market.
See that?
Web 3.0 also allows a thing we call hyperconnectivity. What this really means is that everything is starting to be interconnected through the internet. There are already twice as many devices connected to the internet than people in the world, and it is set to increase to 6.5 per person by 2020. That sounds amazing. Hey, and can my business benefit from all this? Definitely. Businesses benefit from the Web 3.0 in numerous ways. They're not only discovering new novel ways of using social media for marketing, but they're making use of technologies such as Ruby on Rails, Python's Django, and Hadoop to scale their businesses massively through the internet by selling software as services instead of as products. So what you're saying is that the Web 3.0 is perfect? As you might know, nothing can be perfect. With many new technologies coming up, powerful malware and harmful software comes along. The web is advancing so fast that some security protocols are not catching up, leaving loopholes which hackers can then exploit. Also, with the massive increase of value on virtual information, there is also an increasing concern as its protection becomes much more crucial for everyone. All this is great, but how can I keep myself aware of the latest upcoming technology once this video is over? Don't worry, there are numerous ways to achieve this. Feel free to visit our site at web3.hackathon.
This video has one thing that is not available from the other videos of a similar nature. It's very frank, it tells you honest answers that very good, you can try to proceed to Web 3.0, but there is only one thing got to be concerned. What exactly is that one thing? The gentleman mentions. Information security is not perfect. It's quite easy for each one of us who are enjoying the services from this, what we call Web 3.0 era, suffer from it more than we enjoy from it. We talk about AI, we talk about robotics on Monday. We also discussed with you the black magic behind AI. There is an area where we really do not know how to turn it back because the machines can learn. This gentleman mentions some very interesting things. When we create this web called Web 3.0 with the ideas of semantic meaning, that means the web has intelligence closer to humans, which can make recommendations on behalf of humans based on the inputs of certain keywords or whatever you mean it. Then, if it is done by an AI technology, okay, what can you expect from this? Well, remember we showed you the very interesting video which is done by Elon Musk, the CEO of SpaceX and Tesla. He said, there is really something like summoning the demons to do things like this. So whatever you think about it, if we keep on the positive side, well, it's just what this gentleman is going to say in the remaining 20 seconds. What can we expect from this? Well, normally, it's really a time for me to offer you the following answer. This is a research assignment, okay? No one have a definite answer yet at this point. What do you think? So here comes into the research assignment. If you need to answer the questions on your own, if you need to answer the questions on your own, you need to do a little bit of the research, gather evidence, and produce an argument that is your positions. So, in other words, we have to come back to your basic skills of information literacy. You've gone through quite a number of very interesting videos which give you a foundation to think about what is meant by the web on top of the intellect and how the web evolved from 1.0 to 2.0 to now, many people call it 3.0. And you know a little bit of the implications there and the business strategies there. From the videos that we have just gone through in the first 15 minutes. Now it is your questions to answer. Just like a question you answered in the previous class. Is web technology making your life better? Is AI and robotics making your life better? And then what's going to become a Web 3.0 when we enter the era of intellect of things? And when we say that increasingly AI is part of the technology behind those latest developments. So you need to start your own research assignment. And that own research assignment For the first piece, you need to submit it on September the 23rd, with the latest extensions to September the 24th. In other words, you need to submit your first assignment by next weekend. Have you selected a topic yet? What's going to be the topic you would like to work on your research assignment, the journal? So, in order to prepare you for this, I would like you to start with me to understand what is meant by a research assignment, doing a little bit of brainstorming, understanding the expectations behind this, besides the whole IA that I mentioned to you earlier. Hello. So, are you ready? Just 5 minutes to get you started with a research assignment. You're supposed to write a journal. The way to start writing a journal and submit it by next weekend is each one of you need to select a topic. And over the past 4 weeks, we have given you many topics under the umbrella of information technology. An information system, an information security, an information privacy, and then we give you the ideas of ethics, we give you the ideas of social responsibility, we give you the ideas of information literacy, and also the idea of the digital divide. Many, many topics you can choose. And then, if you're smart enough, you know that, oh, we need to go back to day number 1. When the teacher tells us to look at the calendar. The calendar tells us, oh, we got something. Right here, right here. This is the table, which tells us learning contract number 1, which is considered as module number 1, which are 4 important topics, the big topics. One is introductions to information technology. Second is called the intellect, the web, and electronic commerce. Oh, we have not touched it yet. EC. We'll touch it next Monday. And then we have the topic called privacy, security, and ethics. And finally, the topic's called information technology. And you, wow, that's very good. So under each one of these big topics, you are free to select one subtopic that is your choice. Okay, where can you find the subtopics? The smart student will come back to the Moodle environment and say, the first week the teacher said, what is IT, what is IS, and under what is IT and under what is IS, we have a number of very interesting videos here. Okay? And each one of these videos is composed of many subtopics. And which topic are you going to use as the topic you're going to write your assignment? That is your journal. Okay, so after going through the 4 weeks of topics, the big topics and the class topics, you also have more than 1 documentaries. And in each of these documentaries, you have many subtopics to choose. Which one are you going to choose? It's really up to you. The question comes back to, what do you want to learn? Oh, it sounds familiar, right? So that is from day 1. Okay. Is this one?
Woke up this morning, I suddenly realized we're all in this together. I started smiling, 'cause you were smiling, and we're all in this together. I'm made of atoms, you're made of atoms, and we're all in this together. And long division just doesn't matter, 'cause we're all in this together.
You need to figure things out on your own.
Yeah.
You need to construct your answers. You need to be instilled in curiosity in your search. You need to extend the possibilities.
In the city, we're all in this together. The city's changing,
As innovative as
we're
possible.
changing, and we're all in this together.
generator,
Every 12 seconds,
illuminator,
someone remembers that we're all in this
motivator,
together. In the kitchen of your rent control apartment, we're all in this together. Come on, baby, I don't mean to rush you. I only wanted to reach out and touch you. I've got to stop to open my heart. I know you think about jumping ship before it sinks, but we are all in this together.
analyze the content.
Ask a scientist. It's quantum
critically
physics. We are
evaluate.
all in this together. And on the subway, we feel like strangers, but we're all in this together. Yeah, I love you and you love her and she loves him, but we are all in this.
What do you like to learn? Okay, having gotten through this, I would like to bring you back to, you need to start your assignment today. How do you start it? Okay, let's get started. We need to put together something.
Hey there, welcome to the Mercy College Library's Information Literacy Module Series. In this module, you will learn the basics about acquiring the information literacy
It's very important.
to deal with the research papers and assignments that will be a big part of your academic career here at Mercy, regardless of your major. First off, what is this information literacy business?
You need to put it
Glad you
together.
asked. Information literacy is the ability to recognize, locate, use, and attribute valid and credible information sources, including books, journals, magazine and newspaper articles, and an ever-growing variety of multimedia sources. In this module, you will learn the importance of understanding your assignment, choosing a topic that fits the assignment, narrowing or expanding your topic, creating a topic sentence, and determining what kind and how much information you will need.
That's exactly what you need to do in your first journal to be submitted next weekend. You need to understand the nature of the assignment. This is the first research-based assignment that you need to exercise full control to complete it. By choosing a topic of your interest based on the 4 weeks of material we've gone through. Read the syllabus, read the topics, read the timeline, and consult on the Yuan Model online resources. Then you either narrow it down or you want to expand it. It very much depends on your own aspirations. What do you want to know? And then, based on the topic, you need to create a direction for yourself. That is called a topic sentence. So people understand where do you want to go. And then you need to ask the question, what kind of information do I need to complete the assignment? How much? Many smart students asked me this question at the end of last class. In what format should I produce my journal? And I told them, do you remember the OIA rule? Observations, interpretations, and applications. In other words, your journal needs to structure in the context of observations, your observations of the topic, your interpretations of the topic, and your applications of the topic. But in that case, how much of the information do you need? And I asked this question. In a journal, normally we do not have a lot of answers, and sometimes we do not have only one answer. Instead of providing the so-called answer, I encourage the student to create more relevant questions. So, what kind of information you need depends very much on what is your big question, what are your subsequent questions, and you just need to outline your thinking in the context of the journal You do not need to provide the details because you have not started it yet. In 1 week's time, you can expect to or not. Okay, having said that,
The kind and how much information you will need. Research assignments can vary depending upon your class and your professor. Well, let's say you've been assigned a 4 to 6 page research paper requiring 2 outside sources using either the APA or MLA citation styles. What does that mean? Well, it's like this. A research paper or project usually means you need to construct an argument or take a position, make a case for it,
your
to
position.
chosen topic. To support your argument, you'll need to find and use outside sources of information. An outside source is any information that is not included in your course text or class readings.
Remember, they are not
When
provided
searching for
by
information to support your argument, it is very important that you select what we call authoritative sources, sources that have credibility and validity. This is where things can get tricky because there is so much information available to you these days, especially on the internet. It's becoming more and more difficult to determine not only what is credible and what is bogus, but even where to start. Not knowing where to go or what to do can become very frustrating very fast, leading to that dreaded modern malady known as information overload and you don't want to go there. Let your librarians help you. Before going any further into this, it's very important you understand the assignment and what your professor expects of you. If you are uncertain or unclear on any part of what's expected here, including how much time you have, get with your prof before pushing on, okay?
your research topic.
All right. So I've got this 4 to 6 page paper to deal with.
You just have to do 2 pages.
A couple of points to consider when getting started. Always try to choose a topic that interests you. Whenever possible, choose a topic that is related to your major. For the purposes of this example, let's say you have chosen the topic of bullying for your paper.
What are you looking at, butthead?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That guy. Okay, we've got to start. We've also got a big and broad topic. What to do? First, let's break it down. Brainstorm ideas on the topic. Throw some ideas down. Don't worry about whether they're good, bad, right, wrong, useful or not, completely ridiculous. Just throw down some thoughts that come to you when you think of bullying. Maybe bullying in the internet. Read about that a lot. Maybe bullying in social media, Facebook, etc. Wait, there's a word for that, isn't there? Yeah, cyberbullying. Okay, making progress. Maybe something on cyberbullying and social media. Sweet. Now what? Remember that in a research paper, you are creating an argument, staking out and defending a position on your topic. So what's next? Try taking your idea and putting it into a single topic sentence. For ideas to help you, Google or other search engines can be a great source. Search engines, as we'll talk about more in subsequent modules, have limited use as sources for academic writing like this, but they're a great source of ideas and a good place to start. For example, let's take a quick look around Google for cyberbullying and social media. Well, looky here. Seems cyberbullying and social media has caused suicides. That's some serious stuff. What's being done about this? What can be done? What should be done? Wait, do you feel the topic sense coming on here? Maybe something like, what steps are being taken to prevent cyberbullying in social media?
Bingo.
Damn, good.
You need to go through an exercise like this.
Okay, here's what we've got covered so far. You understand your research assignment, what's expected of you, and how much time you have to do it. You've kicked around some ideas and boiled it all down to a topic, sentence, or question from which you'll develop an argument that will be your paper. You need to go and get 2 credible sources you will use to support your argument. In our next module, you'll learn about the open and closed web and how to use library resources to give it.
I just want to repeat this, it's very important. Now that you understand a little bit about the nature of the assignment, writing a journal is the first step to get into a topic of interest of your own choice. You need to have a directions after you got a topic. Normally, it's the topic sentence or your key question. You need to come up with the key questions after you have nailed down your topic. And after your key questions, from the key question, you should be able to find additional sources to support the further explorations of that topic. So in other words, when you write your journal, you must have a topic, you have to come up with some questions, and you have to come up with some relevant sources. Okay? So now that you know what you have to do, okay, the next question is, now that you know what you want in your journal, how do you find what you need? Now that, if you have done this part, you know your topic, okay, you need to find a question, and you need to look up relevant resources. How do you find those important information that you need? If you continue to watch the second episode, the professor is going to tell you that basically we have 2 important sources. One is the intellect, the web is full of resources. We need to look from the web. The way to look from the web is to use search engines. We can use the search engines just as being demonstrated in the video, but we are faced with one big challenge. Normally, the search engine will give us quite a large number of results. If you can look at the result from cyberbullying, there is more than 400,000 results. Can you manage to finish reading 400,000 of results before you write the journal? It's impossible. So, the professor suggested you need to start searching for relevant information from where you are in your college. Normally, we have a library. We do have a library from the University of Macau. And from the library, definitely there is something called electronic databases subscribed by the library. And we need to use the electronic databases provided in our own library to look up relevant information related to our topic. Normally, the library's resources will provide us results with a largely very relevant number of results, but manageable results. Normally not more than 100. Okay? So we have to use our judgment, information literacy judgment, to look up information, to look up resources from the 2 important sources, the web, open web from the intellect, and the closed web, our library. So if you go through this second video, that's exactly an illustration of how we can use the library. And if you do not know how to do it, go back to this, part 1 to part 7 here. Important breakdown of the important resources from the library to the web, from the Diensen College. It's a very good example of how you get yourself equipped with the important IL technique to get your assignment done. Having done this, you need to get yourself understand what is meant by APA and the MLA. Normally we use APA citation. That is how you create a list of references in the format of APA. And how do you give credit to your sources of information from right within your writing? That is the citations. So get ready to study these 2 videos at home. Okay? So by the time we come back next week, every class in next week, Monday and Thursday, I'm going to guide you further into completing your first assignment, the journal. Okay? Today is just the beginning. Alright? And before today is the preparations of your IT stuff. So make sure you do not miss class next week. Okay? And you need to get yourself updated on materials I'm going to provide online through the Moodle environment. It's not a difficult assignment, but there is a lot of things for you to learn through this assignment. Okay? So allow me to take attendance now, which takes me about 10 minutes time, and then I'll let you go. All right? Date numbering. Date numbering. Tira, thank you. Wing Chen, thank you. Rowena, thank you. Ga Ying. Ga Ying. Are you here, Ga Ying? Ga Ying. Not here? Okay. Isabella, thank you. Ruby, thank you. Stephen Chung, Stephen, thank you. Marlo, thank you. Yuki, thank you. Amelia, thank you. Angel, thank you. Ice, thank you. Judy, Ho, Judy, thank you. Kelly, Ho, thank you. Anthony, Ho, thank you. Happy, thank you. Wington, thank you. Hai Yu, thank you. Coco, okay, thank you. Cherry Yim, thank you. Oliver Tian, Oliver, not yet. Kathy Lerm, thank you. Sabrina, thank you. Charlie Lamb, Charlie, thank you. Pinky Lamb, Pinky, are you here? Thank you. All right. Second page. Ho Yin, thank you. Murky Lamb, thank you. Mengit, thank you. Asmi Lamb, thank you. Winyan Lao, thank you. Garbin Lei, thank you. Winnie Lei, thank you. Ron, thank you. Jeremy Lerm, thank you. Hoi Ting, thank you. David Lerm, thank you. Azuri Lee, thank you. Lai Lee, thank you. Bofa Liang, thank you. Logan, thank you, Logan. Jamie New, thank you. Ring No, thank you. Ji Yun, thank you. Fly Ai, thank you. Eric New, thank you. Dick Ao, thank you. Minty Pan, thank you. Celia Sims, thank you. Jillian Sun, thank you. Okay, second page over. Okay. Hoi Yi, thank you. Rehenna, okay. Are you Rehenna? Thank you. Windy Tan, thank you. Alisa Choi, thank you. Ji Ling, thank you. Ella Vong, thank you. Tony Vong, thank you. Fred Wong, Fred, you're not here yet? Steady Winky, thank you. Mia Wong, thank you. All right, near is Jason, you're here. Thank you. Helen Wong, thank you. Lakita Wu, thank you. Miko Siu, thank you. And then Jerry C, thank you. Sandy C, thank you. Bruce Sue, thank you. Finnick Sue, Finnick, thank you. Barbie Yao, thank you. And then Yuan, yeah, thank you, thank you. Hypnotes, thank you. Drew, thank you. And then Sylvia, thank you. And I think there's one more. Yes, that's Qi Ying, thank you. All right, 4 minutes left. Allow me to be a little bit long-winded. You need to complete some revisions, okay, from week 1 to week 4. Picking a topic of the journal and getting started with your writing. Remember, you need to review what is meant by the OIA by coming to this link, okay? And you need to understand the discover method together with the information literacy skill. See you next week, next Monday.